ambassadors that we need for meet and greets this week. And what you guys have to do is check the doc for all the days and the time slots that you would want to do a meet and greet. They last usually about 45 minutes, but we give you an hour, and I'll get into the hours and point system later. But you email us back with your top 3 preferences. So you can say, hey, I want the Tuesday at 12:30, I want the Saturday at 10 a.m., whatever it is, and then we will email you back confirming which one you were put into, if you were put into one. So just so you guys know, there are 200 people in this program, or over 200 people I should say, and this is one of the most popular things. So this gets really, really crazy sometimes. And last year we had it, or last semester, we had it that anyone could sign up and we gave you guys access. And we found that not to be really fair. We want to really make sure that everyone is getting an opportunity to do a meet and greet. So we're gonna have you guys email us with your top 3 preferences, and then if we do place you in a time slot, we will email you back. And it will most likely be Stephanie because she is in charge of the meet and greets. And another thing to take note of is that we have inside meet and greets, so when you're in the admissions office, but then when it gets nice out, we put ambassadors outside in the parking lot just to direct students and families where they're going. You know, they might have questions. You can even strike up a conversation out there if you want to. So you would, in your preference, when you're telling us, say whether you want to be inside or outside. And we limit 1 meet and greet per week per person. So if we put you on 1 week, that's it. We're not going to put you in multiple time slots unless we absolutely have to, and we really need ambassadors at these information sessions. Any questions regarding the sign up at all? Yeah.
Are there, like, when you send out the emails, whoever gets back to you first, are they gonna have a preference over somebody who emails back later, or is that not how it works? Like, it's gonna be strictly based on like who hasn't had the opportunity?
So we're gonna do it based on opportunity. Obviously, we haven't sent out meet and greet emails yet. So this upcoming week when we do, it's gonna be first come, first served, just because it's the beginning of the semester. But as the semester moves on, we really want everyone to get the opportunity to be talking with prospective students and stuff. So it will be based on opportunity. And not all 200 people want to be put in a meet and greet. There's some people where they just kind of want to do shadow days or social media stuff. So we will filter through most of you multiple times, but just so you guys know, we're going to give everyone a chance before we open it up a second time and a third time. Any other questions at all? So shadow days, this is one of my favorite parts. Before I became president, I was a shadow day person, so this is kind of my baby, and now it's Meredith's baby. But you are spending, it's when a prospective student comes and spends the day with you, so you take them to your class, you take them to lunch, show them your dorm, you can give them a tour around campus, just really show them a day in the life here at Marist. And these are great because the parents aren't with you. So usually when the students come, it's the parents that have all the questions. I was that kid, I could never talk because my dad was talking for me and asking all the questions, and I was scared to ask questions because he was right there. But this is a really great opportunity for you to get to know prospective students and for them to really get to know you and kind of open up. So we try to pair ambassadors with prospective students that have similar academic interests, and then if we can't find a similar academic interest, we'll usually do it based on where you're from. So say there was someone from Chicago, we would put them with Colleen because that's an automatic connection right there. Or extracurriculars too. So if there's someone that's really interested in crew and you do crew but you don't have the same major, then we'll put them with you and you can take them to a liberal arts class and you would still have that great connection. And we really encourage you guys to, 1, invite your Marist friends, and then 2, invite fellow ambassadors along. Just because you have a shadow day doesn't mean it's your shadow day and that's it. We want you guys to get your friends involved just so they can talk to other people, especially if you don't have the same major. You know, on business, say I had a science person, I know nothing about science, but I would invite my friends that are science majors to come and talk maybe during lunch, so they do get to experience kind of that science student and what the science student is interested, what they do, etc. And another really important thing, which Brian wanted me to mention, is that you can bring your high school friends to do a shadow day. So we do set up shadow days through the admissions office, through the ambassador program. But if you have a student or a friend that's still a student in high school and they want to come, you guys can set up your own day, do your own thing, and then just let us know, because we want to make sure that we give you guys the hours and we want to make sure you guys get compensated for having a student there. So even if you have a friend come and visit, just let us know and we'll give you all the hours for a shadow day. So shadow day schedules, do you have the paper at all? Okay, that's fine. So The way that we figure out how to pair people up is that we look at your schedules and we ask for your schedules. So we don't have the paper ones right now, so we'll send those out to you guys later. But in the Ambassador Google Drive, there are different schedules kind of set up by school, like School of Science, School of Business. So you go into whatever school is your major. It's kind of confusing, and again, we'll go through this at the end and physically show you guys how to do this. But you go in and you go into your school and you just enter your schedule so we know when you guys have class times. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you the shadow day doc, and you go in and you really look at what's available. Do you want to do that now while we're talking about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So if you guys log in to the Marist AMB account, there will be a doc that says Shadow Days 2015-2016, and you guys will have view-only access. But this will come up, and this is all the Shadow Days that we have available. So as you see right here on the bottom left, there's an unfilled tab, and these are all the prospective high school students that want to come and do a Shadow Day, but have not yet been paired up with an ambassador. So you guys can look at this and say, hey, I am from Connecticut and I'm an athletic training major and I have class on March 9th. I have an athletic training class on March 9th, or I have a liberal arts class on March 9th. And then you can email us. We have a template which we'll show you, and you can say that this is a student that you're interested in taking. And then when you want to email us, can someone, Mara, can you just do this so I can talk? Thank you. And pull up the template. We have a template, and you guys just change the information to your information. It basically is a draft letter of what we're going to send the students when we reach out to them and we tell them that we have paired them up with an ambassador. So this is also in the Google Drive for you guys. So you open this up and you copy and paste this into a body of an email that you send to the Marist Ambassador at gmail.com, the Word account. And anything that is highlighted in yellow is what you guys are going to change. And then if we do want to pair you up with that student, then we will send you guys back confirmation, hey, thanks so much for doing this, we're going to pair you up. And then we will send this email out to the prospective student, and we CC you guys in the email so that you guys get a copy of the email that was sent to them.
One little thing on here, it's silly, but if you're a guy, they all say like she and her. Just make sure you put it to like him, he, because a lot of people forget that and then it just looks a little weird. So I don't know why it's not yellow, but if you get someone named Christopher and it says she, it's just confusing. Yeah.
On this Google Doc, they have first date, second date, third date. Are those like the choices that they put in for them to come?
Yeah, those are their preferences. So they give us 3 dates, and usually it's whatever date we can accommodate. But yeah, those are their preferences. So we usually try to fit it there. Sometimes students will request to do a shadow day, and we can't match them up, so we'll kind of tag them along on another shadow day. So if you have a shadow day set up, we might ask you, hey, can you bring 2 students in, whatever, 3 students in. It usually doesn't get to that point. But we just try to accommodate every single person, and we try to do it very quickly too. We don't want them waiting for a very long time. And if you want to go back to the doc and go to the fill tab, and say you guys are looking in this and you really want to do a shadow day, but all of the ones that are unfilled, you can't really seem to find a match, feel free to go into this fill tab and like pick something, and you can say, I want to do this shadow day too. So what is this? So Matt is going to take a high school student named Stephanie to his database management class, and you can say, hey, I'm free from 12 to 2 and I want to go to lunch with them too because I am an information systems major. So you guys can tag along, and you can just email us, let us know that you're going to do that, and then you can reach out to the ambassador as well and just say, hey, I'm going to come and join you on the shadow day too, and then we'll give you guys hours for that as well. Any questions with signing up for them? I know this is a lot of information, and we know that this is confusing, trust me. But we want to kind of get all this out to you guys and make it as thorough as possible. And then any questions you guys have, you can ask us, or you can come back into the admissions office. We do also have a training manual that we will send out to you guys, so that you guys can go back and look at this. Yeah.
So is this like you sign up once a week, like they greet me, so you can just sign up whenever
You can, yeah, so you can sign up whenever you want. So, Shadow Day emails will be sent out on Tuesdays. Meredith is just gonna send out saying, hey guys, we have 2 computer science, 2 fashion, 1 science. She'll let you know what is unfilled, and then you guys can go into the doc. But we want you guys to check this as often as possible, because these requests come in very frequently, and then especially once people start getting their decisions, they're gonna come in even more frequently. Just so you guys know, spring semester, the Shadow Day program is only open to accepted students, to Marist. So in the fall semester, it's only seniors in high school, and then in the spring semester, it's only if you're accepted. So these students are accepted. Rarely there will be any students that aren't accepted. Sometimes we do have special private visits where we'll reach out to you guys and ask, hey, can you do like a special case, a private visit, but usually these are accepted students.
And I think also based on your question, you don't have to do a shadow day and a meet and greet and a high school visit. These are all things that are options for you guys to participate in and decide if you really like to do shadow days, you can just do a bunch of shadow days. You're not required to do each one of these things that we're sharing with you guys.
Any other questions? Yeah.
So with like the accepted students in the spring, is that like they've already confirmed that they're coming here, or they have not confirmed that they're coming?
They have not confirmed that they are coming. They have not yet, well, I should say this. They haven't deposited. They may have, they may not have, but when we say accepted, we mean that the college gave them an acceptance and said, hey, if you want to come, you have a spot here. So we don't know yet if they deposited. Usually the kids that come on shadow days in the spring, these accepted students, they're in between schools. They're in between Marist and somewhere else, and the shadow day really is the determining factor of what school they're going to go to. So that's why these are really important, and they're really fun in the spring, because it's like, hey, look how much great stuff we have, and you would love it if you came here. But yeah, they have not yet necessarily committed. Yeah.
Do you have to notify your professors before Shadow Day, or
Great
ask
question.
for permission?
Yes, you do have to. So we would like you guys, before you send an email saying what class you want to take them to, we want to make sure that you guys can take them to that class, that you have permission from the professor. And we also want to make sure that you guys don't have a test or quiz that day. So when you're looking at your schedule and you're like, hey, this date works, just check back in your syllabus and check back with your professor to make sure that it works, because the last thing we want is for a prospective student to come and shadow you and then just sit and twiddle their thumbs and them not really learn anything. We want them to sit in the class and be engaged in the class just as they would if they were a regular student. Good
And that's
question.
also because you have to see if you have enough seats in your class too. If it's a class that's really, there's 30 kids and there's not an empty chair, that's something you'll want to ask your professor about too.
So usually the computer classes are the ones that are limited the most with seats.
Another thing with that too, if you guys have like a really good class and professor and you have 1 shadow day, 2 shadow days in there and it really goes well, don't hesitate to ask your professor like, hey, is it okay if I have shadow days more frequently and blah blah. And I had a couple professors my freshman year that I didn't even have to ask after a while, they just loved having the kids come. So you may run into that too.
The majority of professors want students to be in there and they really love it, but you will get some professors that are like, nope, it's a distraction, I don't want them coming, and you just have to respect it and maybe take them to a liberal arts class if you can. Again, we do try to pair it based on similar academic interests, but if you do have the same major as them and one of the dates doesn't work with, if you're a business major, they're a business major, and you don't have a business class on that day, but you have a philosophy class on that day, if it's an interesting philosophy class, you're more than welcome to take them, and then you can talk about all the business classes and the business curriculum when you guys are at lunch. Yeah.
Say you had taken a class last semester and say that aligns with their major and you have good relations with that professor, is it acceptable to maybe go to that class with the shadow day student and have them sit in that class with you even though you're not specifically in that class right this semester?
I would say if it's okay with the professor that you sit in there, that's fine. As long as you are
wanna sit
there.
in next to
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because
But
it
no,
feels like it's
that's
probably
a
hard
good
to like
question,
align
yeah.
everything, so like the
Yeah.
more options that you have might be the better.
If
Yeah.
that's something that's available to you and you're like, oh, this professor loves me, we have a great relationship, I know he has a class at this time that fits with this student, then go for it. We're open to if any like possibilities, any possibility, email Meredith if you have any questions and then she'll confirm
Yeah.
whether it's good to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? These are good questions.
Lunch.
What?
Lunch. Lunch passes. Lunch.
Oh, yes. So, like, yes, lunch, it's dinner.
Lunch.
Okay. So when they come, they're gonna sign in with the greeters like you guys do. You're both gonna probably meet in the admissions office, and you do get a lunch pass for them when they come. So you guys don't have to pay. They don't have to pay. You'll get one too. If you guys don't have unlimited swipes, you get one too as well. So you can just ask the greeters for like 1 or 2 meal passes, however many it may be, and we'll give them to you. Yeah.
On the Excel sheet, it just has the date, so is it just assumed they're available all day, and it would be molded to our, because like, for example, my day does usually start till noon.
Mhm.
So they'll be able to go like noon to 3 p.m., and it won't be in the full day, essentially.
Yeah, can you go to the unfilled and see if there's notes? Yes, great question. So when they give a day, it's usually, they know that it's gonna be any time during the day and they've committed to all day. They'll usually take the day off once they get a confirmation. But we do have, like, kind of like a notes section here, and this is any information that they think is necessary for us to know. So say you have someone coming from California and they said, I'll only be available like from 12 noon on, then we'll make sure they have an afternoon class. Or some people, they're visiting a lot of colleges in one day and they can only do like a 9:30 class, then we're gonna say, okay, these people can only do a class in the morning. So it's really important to look at these notes too. And usually, do you wanna talk about like when people travel here and stuff? Usually when we have students that are out of the area, geographically diverse, we're going to be a lot more flexible with their schedules just because they are spending the money and the time to come over here. So we might put them in an information session and then you might put them in a class before or after. So they might have a really jam-packed day and you might not get to take them to lunch and give them your own tour and stuff like that. And it's just because we're trying to fit as much as we can in that one day for them.
Another thing with these schedules too, we don't do Saturdays for 8 a.m.s, 5s, or night classes because admissions isn't open. So you can't, basically the student has to be in admissions when they get there and then when they leave as well. So 8 a.m., 5, and 6:30 can't happen.
No Saturday classes too. You guys obviously know that, but you would be so surprised at the amount of people asking to come to a class on a Saturday.
And keep in mind that we also have dates that we're off, so our spring break might not be the students' spring break. So if that's one of their preferred days, just keep that in your mind and make sure you're not saying, okay, see you on March 17th, that we're not here.
We usually, when we have the schedule that they sign up on, there's a calendar, so we usually try to block those days off, but sometimes there's always a mistake, and sometimes those dates are available, so like Kate said, just really double check the dates and the times when you're offering the student to come. These are really good questions. Any other questions? No? Alrighty. Thank you. You can go back. Alrighty. So like I mentioned before, we do have weekly emails. So on Mondays, you're going to get the meet and greet time slots. That'll be sent out by Stephanie. On Tuesdays, Meredith is going to email you guys with shadow day openings and just remind you guys to check the doc. On Wednesdays, we're going to email you guys about any like special events, reminders, updates that we have. We do a lot of postcards, phone calls, and kind of smaller projects, which we'll get into a little bit later. But Wednesdays, we're going to email you guys about those. Thursdays, we're going to email you about social media, any social media updates, opportunities that we have. And then Friday, we're going to email you with some professional development type materials. So the tour guide program, we do have professional development every 2 weeks, and we usually get a speaker to come in here for the tour guides and just talk about like a certain school or anything that's happening on campus. And this is really important for the tour guides, obviously, because they're the ones giving the tours, but we thought, hey, it's important for the ambassadors to know too, because you guys are talking to these families as well. So any information that we send you guys on Fridays, it's really important that you read it, because most likely it could be brought up in conversation, and it would really help